Hello, I am Furycat, and we are going to be playing some RimWorld. Now, I've played RimWorld a bit in the past, but not for some time, and certainly not since this new DLC came out, this royalty DLC. So there's a fair bit new in the game that I'm not familiar with, and it's been a wee while since I last played, so it should be interesting trying to feel my way back into things and seeing where we can go. For those of you who aren't familiar, RimWorld is a kind of colony builder type game. So we're going to go ahead and start a new colony here. Now you've got a few scenarios you can choose from. The kind of standard scenario, which is what I played through last time I played this, is Crash Landed, where you've got three reasonably technologically advanced colonists who land with a bunch of starting equipment, and it's a reasonably easy start. So having done that previously, I'm going to try out a different scenario, the Lost Tribe. So instead of being technologically advanced people who've crash landed from a wrecked spaceship in orbit around this planet, we are, as it says here, a lost tribe. So we have much lower technology, but we get more people to start with. So that should be reasonably interesting. So let's give that a go. Now the next thing you need to do is choose your storyteller. You've got three options. You've got your kind of Cassandra Classic here. She's your kind of standard storyteller. Creates random events. None of this is scripted. It's all kind of generated by the AI as you go along. And she'll kind of gradually increase the kind of challenge rating as we progress. So, should kind of keep it in pace with us, the level of challenge we're receiving. You have Phoebe Chillax, which is a kind of much more laid back, plenty of time between disasters, loads of time to build your colony. And then finally you have Randy Random, who just drops random stuff on you. It could be good, it could be bad, who knows. Now, because I've not played in a while, and certainly I wouldn't classify myself as an expert RimWorld player by any standard, we're going to go ahead and do Cassandra Classic. But we'll pop the difficulty level. All of them have a difficulty level. We're gonna try that on rough. We did medium last time. It went reasonably well, so we'll go with rough. And reload any time mode, since I need to be able to potentially roll back if recording all goes horribly wrong. Alright, so let's go next up. Now, much like with Minecraft, the world's generated from a seed, so let's go ahead and pop in Furycat as our seed. And we'll go with 50% global coverage, so that's kind of a bit of balance as to how long it'll take to generate our world. And we'll leave everything else as it is, and let's go ahead and generate us a world. And there we go. You can see here, yeah, I'm using the royalty expansion. No mods. This is just a stock game other than the DLC. It should be giving me plenty to be going on with. Okay, so here we have our world. Now I'm not going to carefully select a starting site. I'm going to go somewhat random, but I'll maybe randomize a couple of times just to get something that looks like it might be interesting. So first things first, let's have a look at what factions we have here. So we've got the Imperium, which I believe are the new kind of thing in this expansion. Got a couple of neutral guys. It looks like the purple guys and the yellow guys are going to be neutral to us. Enin and the Tribo Covenant. Okay. And then we have a bunch of hostile people who will send us all kinds of raids. So ideally, we're looking for a starting place that's going to be somewhere near to maybe the yellow guys or the purple guys, so that we can we've got somebody nearby to trade with in the early game. So let's go ahead and select a random site and see what it gives us. Okay. So yeah, this doesn't actually look too terrible here. We got the Empire over here. We got our purple friends. We got our yellow guys over there. What are we in? We're in a temperate forest. We're gonna get some reasonable temperature variations here. Got some slate and marble to work with, large hills. Yeah. I think that seems like quite an acceptable starting spot. So there you go. First randomization, we get somewhere decent. Okay, so let's hit next. So now we've got to select our tribespeople. So we have a range of people. We're going to get 5 of these people. So we want to have a wee look and see what kind of traits they have. We're ideally looking to make sure we don't have any terribly bad traits. Pyromaniac is a particularly bad one because they'll just randomly set fires, and since we're going to be building with wood a lot to start with, that might not be so great. We ideally don't want to have people or too many people who are incapable of kind of key tasks. And yeah, this does not look good over here. She's already got an ambrosia addiction, so she's going to go into withdrawal since we're not going to be able to feed that out the gate, and has asthma in both lungs, which is not going to do wonderful things for her. So okay, well, we may have to pass. I mean, you've got some good skills. She can shoot, she can fight, she can cook a little bit. Some animal skills. She has jogger, which is a really good positive, makes them move faster. Can't do caring, but we've got enough other people who can maybe take care of that. So yeah, her health conditions are making me think no, but we'll see. Let's have a look at Beaver here. Beaver the Hearth Tender. A masochist. Well, that's interesting. Okay, likes the pain. Got some passion for animals, which could potentially be quite handy. Not much skill, but it'll build quickly with a passion. Can cook, can do construction, those are both good. Not much use in a fight, but a bit of a passion for melee, so we can, maybe get that leveled up a little bit. Yeah, okay, I'm kind of liking Beaver here. Beaver looks good. There's no terrible negatives here, and he's got some useful skills. So let's look at Scorpion here. You're not capable of violence, but you are a night owl. You have a great memory. I can't remember exactly what great memory does. I suspect it'll probably give him a buff to researching. Night owl. So he's going to prefer it to be active at night. Bit of a passion for intellectual. Really good with plants and cooking. No negative health conditions. So potentially useful here. We've got another cook. Did we have another cook? Yeah, Beaver's a cook as well, but it doesn't hurt to have a backup. Good with plants, really good with plants, and a burning passion for it. So that could potentially be very useful for us keeping everybody fed early on. So yeah, you're looking good as well. Rogov. Okay. You're too smart. Okay. You're kind. You're kind, but you like beating people up. Well, I mean, okay. Good at social, which is potentially useful to convince people to join us and for negotiating with trade caravans. Not too much else in standout skills. Got intellect, but no passion in it. So yeah. Let's have a look at Vassalo, our shaman, the Muffalo shaman. You've got bloodlust and you're sickly. You've got some malnutrition, but we could probably fix that. You are kind of old. You're a slow learner. And sickly, which I suspect is going to mean that you are more susceptible to kind of diseases and such like, which might not be so great for us. Well, let's have a look at who else we have here with options. You're a fast learner and a body piercer, so you're not going to want implants, but that's okay. We're not going to be able to do anything like that anytime soon. And being a fast learner, you could potentially shoot very well because you've got a burning passion, you're decent at fighting, you've got some intellection. Yeah, I'm liking you probably more than Jackal here, so let's take Jackal out and put you in Galga. Okay, so you're out, Jackal. What about a healer? Yes, medical. Chemical fascination and very neurotic. So that could potentially be problematic. I believe this makes you more susceptible to breakdowns, and you're going to like hitting the drugs. If we have drugs around, you are going to probably hit them. You won't do dumb labor, but that's okay. You'd probably be doing our research and art and animals. So maybe. So we look at Porcupine. You've got a brother, Viper, who isn't one of ours. Okay, so maybe somebody who could show up. You're also a jogger. You're jealous, so you're going to want, I think, a better bedroom than everyone else, but the rest of your stats aren't great. I'm kind of thinking worm just because of the healing, and maybe drop out Mr. Slow Learner here. Yeah, I think you can probably go for worm. So, okay, we've got our little start up here. We've got a reasonable spread of skills and capabilities here. I've got a funny feeling that Galga here might be our kind of go-to for beating people up in the short term, and possibly our main hunter, given that burning passion for shooting. So, okay, let's get it going with them. So as I say, I haven't played this in some time, so I'm going to be remembering as I go along here. I'll doubtless make mistakes, but that's all part of the fun, part of the learning process. So, yes, the gods were angry. The blood machines came at night. They swept through your village, cutting and burning your people with their blades and devil fire. Only a few of you escaped. Now, after a harrowing journey with no friends to turn to, you must build a new home in the wilderness, like your ancestors did. All right, well, let's have a look at where we are. So let's go ahead and pause and have a bit of a look around our new home here. Okay, so we got some mountains to this kind of south and just here. So I'm immediately kind of liking the look of this central area here, like from a defensive standpoint. We can potentially seal this gap here. We've got a lot of compacted steel there, like, oh my goodness. And some compacted machinery. Not so useful for us right away, but at some point we are going to want components, which we can get out of the compacted machinery, but a lot of steel right there, which is potentially very good. We have muffalo, which are great both from a food standpoint and for their fur, once we learn how to make decent clothing. What's this over here? Some jade, potentially quite a useful trade resource for us early on. A lot more compacted steel down here. This looks like some kind of structure here. Now, if I remember correctly, there's usually on each map there's an ancient danger, which if you unseal it is full of all kinds of horrible things, but also potentially some quite good rewards, and that could be that. So we probably want to stay clear of that to start with. We have a mega sloth, a fair selection of wildlife around here, which is probably going to be our food source. We have a whole lot of monuments over here, which I haven't seen them before, but okay, there's a table. Assorted ruins of steel over there. They could potentially be deconstructed early on for construction materials for us. More animals up here. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of quite nice resources here. We've got some kind of ruins down here that we can maybe make some use of early on as a kind of makeshift habitat while we build our own structures. What else do we have? Steam geysers. Now, steam geysers could be quite important. They're good sources of power later on. You can build geothermal power on them, but they can also be used as a source of heat if it gets too cold, before we have access to electricity to conveniently heat. It looks like we have some nice fertile soil here, so this could be a good spot for our kind of early farming attempts. Okay, so this is looking like a nice little home here early on. So we're going to want to get our guys to work. So before we unpause, let's do a couple of things here. So the first thing we're going to want to do is set down where are we? Zone. Yes, a stockpile. So kind of stock our belongings in maybe somewhere over here. If we're going to I think we should maybe make use of this structure. Kind of patch it up a little bit and use this as a kind of temporary base of operations until we can kind of build our own structures. So let's go ahead and we'll pop a stockpile in there. We'll go ahead and allow, what do we got here? We've got a whole lot of pemmican, which is going to be our food source early on. We've got some herbal medicine. Okay, let's see, we've got a pila, which I think is a ranged weapon. A bunch of silver, so for trading, that's good, it's good. And then we've got a jade knife. A steel equa, I think that's another melee weapon. We have a club, and there's a couple of short bows. Okay, so let's figure out who do we want to Who do we want to equip with what? Let's see. Now you... Yeah, you're going to want a melee weapon. I think we'll give you this Equa here. So you go grab that. Beaver, you're kind of a bit meh. But you've got a bit of a passion for melee, so well, maybe come back to you. You are just terrible. So you can have a knife. Enjoy your knife. Now you've got a passion for shooting, so you go and equip one of the bows. You're incapable of violence, so okay, you can just not have anything, which means I think Beaver here then, I guess, can have our other bow. I don't really see. Yeah, I think we want Rogov to be our melee person. He's very good at it. Okay, what else have we got here? We got a couple of pets. We got a couple of female Labrador retrievers. 2 females, so okay, well we're not going to be breeding them, but potentially we can get our animal person using them to kind of skill up their animal skills a little bit. Right, so we have a whole pile of wood here as well, so let's go ahead and allow that. And these little X's by them mean that they're currently restricted, so you know, nobody will interact with them. So we obviously don't want that. We want to use our wood. Okay. So that's looking like a good start. So first order of business, we're going to want to secure some more food. So, oh, hang on, what's this here? We have Da Vinci, the yak. Okay. Potentially useful as a beast of burden for trade caravans. So yeah, okay, we can work with this. We can work with this. So let's have a look at getting some hunting going on. So let's see, what can we hunt early on that's not likely to present too much of a problem. Let's go and hunt one of these, one of these bucks. So we'll tell somebody to go hunt that. Ideally, we want that to be Galga, I think. Yes. Okay. So let's have a look at who's doing what. We want to do manual priorities. So this lets us kind of set priority numbers, which will kind of change how each of our guys here is going to prioritize their workload. So they'll do the lowest numbers first. So we want Galga to be our hunter. So where's Galga? You're not currently set to be a hunter. Beaver is. Is Beaver a good shot? Not especially. So no, I think we want Galga doing the hunting by preference. So we'll set that to priority 2, I'm thinking. And if he doesn't have anything else to do, we'll have him do hauling and cleaning. Let's set them slightly lower priority, so because Galga's good. Intellectual, yes, we quite fancy him doing some research. Scorpion, yeah, you definitely want to be prioritizing anything to do with plants, and if you don't have anything there to do, you can cook or handle. Let's set that a lower priority than cooking. We want you primarily. Well, do we? Actually, no, let's do that the other way around. You can cook if you don't have any handling to do, but we'll have Beaver doing cooking, and he's going to be busy with construction. This is always the hardest part early on, is trying to figure out who you want to have doing what. Okay, well, we'll let them get on with that, and we've got some hauling for people to get on with in the short term, and we can start figuring out how we want to plan out doing stuff to our base. So I think our first order of business is to kind of patch up our structure to provide something resembling actual shelter here. So let's go ahead and build some wooden walls. Yeah, we don't have enough wood stored, but that's okay. They're going to move that to the stockpile. So we'll go ahead and we'll wall that in, and we'll go ahead and we'll wall that in, and we may as well close up there, and we'll leave a door there just in case we need to get out to this. To that. Oops, that is not where I want that. There we go. And then we're going to want to cut down that tree there. That's just going to get in the way, so let's cut you down. And then we want to definitely have this all roofed. So currently I don't think this area is set to have a roof, so we're going to tell our people that, yeah, we definitely want to roof it in so we can be indoors. Okay, hopefully they're gonna can't build a roof of rubber. Well, we'll give them that order again once they cut that down. Hopefully this will give us a nice little indoors area. Got a bunch of steel sarcophagi here, which let's go ahead and deconstruct them for materials. Give us a bit more space. We got a few tables. Marble, nice. Marble is a very pretty building material, so it'll enhance the beauty of the area, which makes it more pleasant for our guys to be in. We also have a little urn. Does that give us any beauty? Let's have a little look. Yeah, it gives us a little bit of beauty. So, okay, so we've got ourselves a nice little place here that we can call home for the time being. Now, the next thing we're going to want to start thinking about is getting some of our kind of basic essentials up and running. So we're going to want to probably build ourselves. And where does it come? Production, I'm pretty sure. Yes, our simple research bench. We're going to want to get research going quite early on. We are on a tribal start, which means that we naturally have a much lower tech level than is, in the standard kind of crashed explorer start. We also research more slowly, so it's going to be imperative that we kind of try and keep that moving along. Let's see, what else are we going to want? We're going to want a butchering spot. I can probably go outside for now. And we're going to want a crafting spot. That can be indoors. We'll kind of put the crafting spot over here next to the stockpile. And we're going to want to get our ability to start cooking, which, yes, we can do that with a campfire. Now, let's go ahead and build that indoors somewhere once our guys have cleared a little bit of space. Let me pop it back here. I don't know how badly that's going to heat things up in here. We'll see. We may have to force one of the doors to remain open, but we'll kind of see how it goes. Have we managed to get a roof over our heads? It's probably this. Yeah, it looks like they've managed to roof over. Excellent. Okay, so we have something vaguely approximating a home. I guess our yak feels free to share the space with us. So, yay. Now we're probably going to want to clear some of the wood around here. For a while, I think wood is going to be our kind of primary building material. So let's go ahead and order, where are we, chopping wood. Let's go ahead and just kind of chop a bunch of this. Yeah, there we go. Now we probably don't want to keep all of our wood indoors. So let's go ahead and set another stockpile up for that. We can go ahead and say that we can have a little wood stockpile like there. So you can click into storage here and you can say what you're going to allow and disallow. So let's see, we're not going to want to store any foods here. We don't want manufactured or items or weapons or apparel or any of that nonsense. We're going to store raw resources here. Stone blocks are good. And we can probably store steel there. It's probably fine, and wood. Yeah, that looks okay for now. And we're going to roof it over, which will just kind of help prevent the items decaying over time, being under a roof. How's our hunting been getting on? We managed to successfully. We have successfully managed to kill that buck. Okay, so we want a storage location for animals that we've killed, so probably near the butcher spot. So let's go ahead and I think, is it a dumping stockpile? Yeah, I think we can do that with a regular stockpile. So let's just say that this is where we put dead things. We don't want rotten. We want let's see, corpses. Yeah, we want corpses to be stored there. But probably not, yeah, just animal corpses is fine. Okay, and we'll put that priority preferred. Do the same for this one. So this is where they're going to prefer to store these items. So we're starting to get a bit of prioritization as to where we're going to store our stuff. And we'll say that this place here will disallow stone blocks, we'll disallow steel, we'll disallow wood. Ensure those get stored outside. There we go. Okay. And hopefully, yeah, it looks like Rogrove is heading off to grab that buck, which is Good, good, good. Okay, we have our research bench up and running, so let's go ahead and get some research going on. Let's have a look here. We have a few options. So some of the important early on things that we can probably get going here, stone cutting, so that we can have building materials that aren't, wood or steel, but I think steel is a bit too precious to be using for that at this stage. Complex furniture will let us start to make this place a bit more like home. We can build beds, which is kind of important. People don't really like sleeping on the floor. And complex clothing is also a good starting point. So we can actually start to wear something to kind of protect us from the elements. Now, the weather, I believe, is pretty mild here at the moment, so I think we're probably going to want to look at furniture as a kind of first step. So let's go ahead and set that as our research priority. Now, speaking of somewhere to sleep, we're going to want to set some sleeping spots here for people. That's where I try and remember how you do that. Is it under furniture? It is under furniture. Look at that. So let's go ahead and say that down here, this is where people sleep. So there we go. We've got a bunch of sleeping spots. We'll put an extra one in there just in case. Tell you what, we'll make that one the medical sleeping spot just in case. Okay, so we have places to sleep. We have our research bench. I don't think we can make anything in the way of... We can make a stool. So yeah, let's go ahead and make a stool so that people are at least a bit comfortable when they're sitting working there. It's not ideal, but Okay, so we've got some of our basics up and running. We have a place for some research to get done. We've got a place for people to sleep. We're going to want to put our cooking fire in, so let's go ahead and get that done next. Which is under temperature, I believe. Yes, campfire. So, sure. Let's go ahead and pop the campfire back here. We'll see how that works out in terms of temperature and such. Where's our buck? Oh, here he comes with our buck. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and our butcher spot, we'll tell them to butcher creatures forever. So basically, chop up anything we've killed and turn it into meat, which we're going to use to potentially cook some meals. There we go. We've got our fire going in here. Okay, what's the temperature indoors? 27 and 27 outdoors. Okay, so, well, we'll see how that goes. Are you busy deconstructing this? Looks like you might be. Yes, you are. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we're getting some of our basics taken care of here. Now, let's see what else can we be doing. We're probably going to want to start thinking about our long-term food supply. We can continue to use our little repurposed ruin here for the time being as a place to kind of sleep and eat our meals and so on and relax and generally hide from the elements. So I think we probably want to be starting to look at getting this area over here cleared so that we can use this for farming. We want to try and maximize our use of this. So we can't really use the mud there, I don't think. Yeah, mud is not ideal, but we can use this kind of rich soil. You can see at the bottom, down at the bottom left here, as I mouse over, it tells you. So this is all fertility 140% stuff. So this is really good growing ground, and then the rest of around is 100%. So it's not exactly like it's terrible. So let's go ahead and order people to clear all the kind of plant matter that's clogging this place up. So we'll just go ahead and clear cut that lot. And we'll go ahead as well and let's get these. I don't want all of them, so we'll go ahead and just get these stone blocks prioritized for hauling them out of the way. We're going to want them later anyway, so they can get hauled back to our little stockpile back here. And we can start to think about laying out some farmland up here. And then we can start to think about, how we're going to position the rest of our base. So we're going to want a kitchen, and a freezer at some point once we learn how to refrigerate. Unfortunately, in the short term, food's going to spoil pretty quickly because we don't have any way of refrigerating it. So we're going to have to kind of keep on top of that. But eventually, we're going to want to have a fridge, and we're going to want to have the kitchen kind of just next to that so that people can collect stored food from the fridge, take it through the kitchen, cook it, put it back in the fridge, and then we're probably going to want a dining area somewhere near that. Let's have a look. Okay, so our defenses are probably going to be kind of here. Here we've got a very open area around here, which is going to be a little bit tricky for us to defend. Although we can potentially repurpose these ruins once we're done. We can maybe use the walls a little bit to get some initial defenses up. So I'm thinking maybe somewhere around about here might be quite good for our kind of initial construction work. We'll maybe get what's going to eventually be our fridge and our kitchen just over here. Okay, now let's have a look at our work orders and make sure we've got people doing what needs to happen. So plant cutting, yeah, so at the moment it's poor Scorpion doing it all by himself. That just doesn't really seem ideal. So you're intellectual 11, you're intellectual 8. Do either of you have a passion in this? You have a minor passion, and who was our other potential researcher? Worm, the healer. What's yours like? Yeah, I think we're probably going to want you to do most of our researching. So we'll deprioritize that for Galga and Rogo for now. And we'll get you doing some plant cutting, just for just now, while we're not getting you to do anything else. You will not do plant cutting. Well, okay then. And you're kind of busy with a bunch of other stuff, but if you don't have anything else to do, sure, you can go cut some plants as well. You're going to be doing our research when you're not handling or doing art, or definitely we want you doctoring people as your #1 priority. Absolutely. Okay. You're our backup doctor, I guess, 6. Yeah, I think you're... we've actually got a fair spread of medical, but I think we want to have Worm doing most of that, so we'll set you to priority 2 for that, just in case. It's nice to have a backup. Alright, looks like everyone's bedded down for their first night, and since we're now just past 30 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in right here. Okay, so hopefully you've enjoyed that. If you want to see more of this, then by all means subscribe. I'll try and put these up in at least a couple a week. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please hit like. See you next time.